Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. Hunter Biden, he has pled guilty in his federal tax case in California, which means he has saved us from having to hear more stories about how he spent business money on things like escorts and strip clubs and a sex club membership. Yeah, it's just like Costco with boners. And of course, on rent and his daughter's college tuition. I'm sure his daughter is very pleased about that we don't have to see or hear any more about Hunter's Wang, maybe ever again. So what does this mean? He entered what is called an Alford plea, which basically the defendant tells the court, yes, I accept the responsibilities that come with pleading guilty, although I maintain my innocence. It's kind of a cowardly move. But, for someone who has always tried to scam the system, it would be no surprise that a malignant narcissist like Hunter Biden would try and maintain his innocence, because how can you extend the grift if you admit that you're guilty to really, really disgusting things, even though all of the lurid details on the laptop actually turned out to be true? But I'm pretty glad that we are spared from that again. So what does this mean? Well, for him, he and his dad are both going to enter a sad state of reality when Joe Biden no longer has any power to offer. As you know, that was the great commodity for Uncle Jim and Hunter and God knows who else in their family to profit off of for years and years. But now that Joe Biden is not running for a much needed second term, if those family members were going to continue to fill their shady coffers, now the entire business venture has been rendered utterly useless. Joe can be wheeled off to his Delaware diaper changing station that Dr. Jill with that trusty medical degree. Wait, what? Not a medical doctor? I guess Whoopi Goldberg was wrong. And now those two, as the sun sets on Joe's political career, so is the case with Hunter's career, I guess, as an amateur painter who is charging, hundreds of thousands of dollars for his crappy artwork. And no one really wants to hear his story anymore because a former president's disgusting son, I guess, isn't quite as exciting as a current president who could still offer favors and pardons for all sorts of rich Democrat donors. Now they don't want to have anything to do with them.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
The family has been a stain on the Democrat Party for quite some time. And even though his dad was unceremoniously shivved and elbowed from office, I think this probably signals that if Vice President Harris becomes President Harris in the fall, at least President-elect Harris, and then ascends to the throne of democracy in January, she will probably give him a pardon, because I think everyone wants to move past this. Although the government didn't know that he was about to plea out this case, and he did. They were surprised. There was no deal to be had with the government. This was something cooked up by Abby Lowell, probably to save the entire family from more embarrassment. I'm just glad that we are now saved from more stories and more excuses and more annoying schemes foisted upon us by a very crooked and compromised person who embodies the family ethos. That would be Hunter Biden. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. So good for you, Hunter. No shackles today. He still has one more criminal case to go. And I've got about 1 million podcasts to go prepare for. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app. Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.